Okay, so, alright, we're on the air. This is a continuation of my gameplay on AKUMU mode, and this is part 6. Now, the parts have nothing to do with what chapter I'm on, although 6 happens to coincide right now with the beginning of chapter 6. I know that sounds redundant if you've watched any of the previous broadcasts, because 5 is pretty much chapter 5 and 4 is chapter 4. 5 I really should have split up into 2 parts, because 5 was really where the game at chapter 5 is when it really starts to peak in terms of frustration, and I had a pretty difficult time during the Kidman sequence protecting Joseph. I probably died 15 to 20 times for the first checkpoint, and that is the worst part. Now, I've already... This is the file. You can see it's on AKUMU difficulty. It's not on New Game Plus, otherwise there'd be a clear here. And I'm starting at the beginning of Chapter 6, which I'm really not looking forward to, because now this is the point where, if you've gotten up to this point, this is pretty much, probably, I would rank the worst section of going through this mode. When I played through this the first time, this was the section where I don't know how many times I died before I could get through this. 70 to 80, and this was the only point where I pretty much thought to myself, at some point I believed I really couldn't do this, and I was just going to quit the game entirely, because this part is pure insanity. And it's solely because there's no checkpoint between the 2 rooms that you have to go through and protect Joseph, which we'll get to. Now...
Has something startled you?
Did they do something to my head?
You don't look well. You should take better care of yourself.
Now, I'm not really collecting items, but I am concerned about keys. But before looking at that picture, because it's going to start up the whole thing, I want to... Because this is the only point that... Before we reach the really bad sequence, this is the only time you'll be in the save room, so... So, if you want to make any upgrades now, it would be a good time. Now, I can only recommend so much here. I've basically spent a lot of time in Chapter 2 and Chapter 3. I spent about 3 hours in Chapter 3. I snuck through most of it. There's a Ruvik clone at the center of the village, and I managed to kill the sadist. I only used 1 flashbulb. I managed to just run him around in circles and catch him in traps. In this particular situation, really, just, I can't even... As far as conservation of ammo and bolts, I mean, it's not going to even matter. At some point, you're just going to really want to get out of this. Now, if you've went through the game like I have, and then you can see I have 29 parts. Now, and this is at the beginning of Chapter 6. I'm collecting all the green gel I can, all the keys, because the keys have loads of ammo and green gel. And in terms of traps, I basically disarmed even the motion sensor bombs in Chapter 3, which is a pain, but it's a very good place to do it because there's a save room available all the time, so considering how fast that needle is on those bombs and how easy it can blow up in your face, you can just disarm 1 bomb, go to the save room, save the game, do the same thing over and over. Now, I have 29 parts. Now, the reason I amassed all of that was for particular sections that I was preparing for, one being in Chapter 4, when you're thrown into the bloodbatter. One, the sequence where you have to... Another one where you have to protect Joseph, which I did last night, and again, I really should have split that whole chapter up into 2 broadcasts, because I went through the first 4 chapters, and, you know, I died maybe 4 or 5 times, and in that chapter alone, I probably died 40 times. So that's really for me just it's showing how much of it, how bad it really gets. Um, and for anyone playing this the first time, you might start thinking, "Oh my God!" Like it starts getting that bad. I mean, it's really when you start having to protect Joseph, and in any case afterward, when you're with Joseph, and throughout this entire chapter, you're with Joseph, and really the first part of it's the worst, but having all of these parts is good because now I'm going to be going into this room with all of this. Now, you're not going to have much time to sit there and craft bolts, so you probably want to do that beforehand. Another thing I recommend is before, now when I get to the point of the door that I'm going to open before the sequence, because where it puts you for a checkpoint is just insane. It starts you right in front of an enemy who has an axe, and he's either going to lunge at you or throw the axe, and you can die within milliseconds, and it'll just be loading again right before you know it. It's best to go in with whatever weapon in hand you're going to go in with. I mean, literally that quickly, just so you don't even have to switch anything. And whatever you choose to use here, now I've upgraded my, let's see. Really, okay, let me sit in the chair for a moment, because, actually what I'm going to do is, I'm going to follow my own advice here. Okay. What I usually do is I recommend saving the game before any upgrades. Now, this is especially the case here. The reason being that if you feel like you've made any upgrades that, you don't really like, you can always reload. I keep 2 save files, so you can reload back and, use the green gel towards something else and see if something else works. Now, in this particular situation, I don't really, I don't know what I'm going to do because you just get thrown in the room, and really, it's in some cases for me, this is a matter of luck and skill. Really, I don't even know. Again, I'm not the best player in the world, and really what this is really about persistence and determination, and I can't tell you how many times I screamed at the screen during this sequence. I mean, I really was ready to quit this entire game. This was the #1 worst area we're coming up to. This is how bad it is. This is like, to me, a final boss fight. It's incredible. I mean, this is how bad. And you wouldn't think about it if you've only played the game on casual or survival. You've probably gotten through this section pretty quickly, and you wouldn't be thinking to yourself if you're playing on this mode. You'd probably be thinking, "Oh my God, how am I going to get past the boss fights?" And some of the boss fights are pretty bad, but really the worst parts of playing on this mode are parts like, for instance, when you have to protect Joseph, that first checkpoint, and then the first checkpoint really is the worst. And there's enemies coming out from every direction in Chapter 5. When you have, because the enemies are twice as fast on this mode, and it's one hit, you're dead. And there's more of them. Now, the damage is pretty much the same from my experience, but still, they're coming from every direction. They're running extremely. Even I have my sprint at level 4, which really is the only ability that's worthwhile to upgrade. So life gauge is absolutely pointless. Syringe recovery, I mean, it's one hit, you're dead. There's no point. I don't even bother with the melee. Melee fighting is not really recommended. Now, my sprint is okay. As you can see, so far through my playthrough, I haven't upgraded my handgun, my shotgun, or the base of my crossbow. Now, I'll probably wind up upgrading the shotgun because the enemies get a little stronger as the game goes on, and really what I just want to do with the shotgun usually is knock down an enemy. It's really... It's not likely you're gonna kill an enemy with the shotgun, so that's why, for stock purposes, the first thing I maxed out was my matches, because once they hit the ground you can light them on fire. Just still, even with that, it's kind of risky because you have to kind of be careful. If you're standing directly over the body, they can easily just swipe their hand and hit you in the foot and you're dead. So syringes are pointless. Now I have that at level 2. I should probably put that at level 3 because in this part, even going to the inventory, even though it slows down time, I mean, you're going to have enemies swarming all around you, and it's going to be, to sit there and craft bolts is just, I'm probably going to need to craft bolts. Now, you can see already I have the flash at level 4. One of the reasons I'm able to have these at high levels too is because of the time I spent throughout these chapters collecting all of the keys and exploring areas, getting all the green gel I can, and now, the problem is that I could put this at level 5, and 16 seconds is good, because Joseph has to open these doors, and if they're flashed for a long period of time, it's good. The problem is that it's the second floor. I mean, if I'm going to throw flash bolts around, there's still the enemies just keep piling in down from the ceiling in all directions. And if you know, you can hit a few of them and they'll be flashed, but more will come, and then at this point, I really don't want to blow all of my trap parts because I pretty much need some of them, at least for me, for the sentinel or that big dog boss at the end of this chapter, and that's another part. By the end of this chapter, I believe on my first playthrough, in which case I did the same thing, disarming traps and collecting all of these things, which it became incredibly useful for chapter 5 and 6 mostly, and for the I used a few parts for chapter 4 in that particular section with where you're thrown into the bloodbath. The thing is, if by the end of this chapter you're out of parts, it's probably not a big deal, because in chapter 7 it'll be another occasion like chapter 3 where you'll reach a point where there'll be a save door available a lot, and there will be motion sensor bombs and a number of other traps, so you'll be able to gain a lot of trap parts back in chapter 7. This is true in 9 as well, and the parts you gain will be useful probably for chapter 10 and 11, and then you'll be able to collect more parts in chapter 13. So it's not that if you kind of feel like by the end of this chapter, okay, I have no more parts and whatnot, it's really not that big of a deal, but it would be very difficult for me to blow all 30 trap parts that I have right now in this part, and I could be on this part for literally 2 or 3 hours just in these 2 rooms. This is literally hell. This is the worst part of this game, and if you can get through this part, then you can pretty much beat this on AKUMU mode. Now, I am obviously doing upgrades. This is possible to do this mode without upgrades, but in order to maximize your chances, it's having the sprint level up really high is one of the best things you can do, as well as having a good stock of matches. And being able to carry extra ammunition is good. I have it at level 3 for the shotgun. Now I'm gonna take some bullets probably from the locker and just take everything I can with the shotgun, because that's another good thing about keys. I have 1 locker's opened in there that has shotgun ammo, and there's probably another one with shotgun ammo. And if any part, this is a part where really, I don't even know if I can care if I blow all my shotgun ammo. Using the handgun, these enemies are going to be everywhere. Now my explosive bolts is level 3, which is that's good, but being in cramped rooms, I mean, you always have to be careful because you're too close to the explosion that's gonna kill you. I don't really find the freeze bolt very useful. That's 5 trap parts to make, and on this mode, on AKUMU mode, you freeze somebody and they're too close to you, you can die. And all of the enemies are going to be extremely close to you in this situation, and the flash bolt's probably the best thing to have in this. Shock bolts are pretty good, but because you can burn bodies in the ground, but if you go to light a match, you probably get hit by an enemy in this situation. I used shock bolts a lot my first playthrough to get through this. I mean, I must have died 70 times before I can get through this section. The reality is I can make whatever upgrade I want here, and like I said, because I already saved the game, which is a good idea, if I feel like I made a mistake, or I feel like I want to try something else, I'm gonna put this stock up, because I'm gonna craft it up to the max for the stun bolts. And make sure I have what I need when I go into this area, because like I said, the checkpoint's terrible. You're not really gonna have time to go into the inventory in the beginning and craft stuff and sit around. There's no... This is how... I can't even explain how bad this is gonna be. I don't know. See, this is questionable, because I wanted this at level 5, you know, at some point, by chapter 11. And for a specific reason, which I won't get into, but 4 seconds. I mean, maybe. Jeez. You know what? I do want to put this up at some point, so 6 seconds for this is kind of good. I don't even know what I'm going to wind up using or what's going to get me through this. I know I'll wind up using the flash bolts though, and I don't really want to use a lot of shock bolts because they're double the parts. So I'm gonna craft a few of these. Now you see I have 21 parts left now. Now for the first room, I might not be using the flash. I'm trying to think what to start off with here. This is how bad it is, because it's good to know the order too of the bolts at this point. So if you need to switch, if you want to switch a bolt, and I want to get to the stun right now, it's 1, 2, 3. And really, even taking that time, you could be dead. So even switching around here while you're running around this room is even risky. This is how much time matters in this situation. Now, I want to go in here with the shotgun in my hand. That's just my way. When I get to the bottom room, I'm pretty much going to use probably a lot of the flash bolts. Now, I'm just going to, if I can actually pick this up, you know, just... Now, I'm going in here with 12 shotgun. I have 21 matches, and I have more parts to craft things. I'd really not, I don't want to use, I had 30 parts, I just crafted 4 stun and 1 explosive. I'd rather come out of here with parts. If I came out with 0, there are some motion sensor bombs you can disarm in the next section, but it's a pain because there's no save room to go to, and you could wind up dying. It really might be worth it to do if you had nothing. At this point, if I had nothing, I'd be a little freaked out. So, now bear in mind, I haven't saved the game after, opening the locker and doing this. I could. I have 2 separate save files, but really at this point, I'm not really... If I'm not happy with what I just did, now I can come back here and reload this. And even if you're having trouble with not even liking the way you're starting off in the situation because you're not holding the right bolt or the bolt you want, there's just no time to switch. There is, I mean, but you within milliseconds you can get hit by an axe, so... yeah, that's right. You have to look at the picture. The good thing about going back to the save file, too, is you won't encounter any enemies until this just absolutely painful part. So, you'll have to run up the section. And as I'm collecting all the keys in this, there is 1 key along the way, so... Again, this is like a final boss fight. On this mode, this is pretty much the worst part. It's not to say it's going to be it's a cakewalk after this. I mean, my video for chapter 5, I should have split into 2 parts because that's when I started dying a number of times. Five and 6, just generally these 2 chapters. The moment you meet up with Joseph is just it's a pain from that point on. That's an understatement.
What was that sound?
I'm kind of nervous right now, quite honestly. I'm not really looking forward to this. I'm not. It's like in one way, I just want to just jump into this and get it over with, but I'm going to jump into this, and I don't want to be sitting here for 3 hours dying over and over, but, you know, if it happens, it happens, and if I have to stop the broadcast, I'll stop the broadcast, but I'm just going to just come back in part 7, and I'm still going to be stuck in the same room. And I guess I'm just doing that just to kind of, it's not to discourage people, but to really show that, you know, this is how bad it can get, and how, this is really the worst, probably, it does get on this mode. And really, like I said, I'm not an expert gamer, so really, if I can get through this, then, you know, and, you know, with all of the tips and with all of the time I spent collecting trap parts and whatnot, you know, this is definitely one of the sections where this becomes useful, as well as other sections I mentioned before, but that's what really it's all about. When you, in chapter 3, 7, and 9, those 3 chapters, you take advantage of and abuse the save room and disarm everything and get every trap part you can. It's for situations like this. This is what it's for. And, you know, like I said, if you want to have some parts for the last boss, because you don't want to be running around a lot, because they put bear traps on this mode, and you hit those, you die, and, you know, there's the canine's just going to run around. I mean, obviously you could dodge him normally, but you probably might run into a bear trap. But I just try to shock bolt him and throw whatever explosive bolts at him and just not even move out of my place.
Sebastian?
So if I end up leaving this chapter with nothing, I mean, even if I had no shotgun shells, I mean, I have some in the locker, so, and that's really what this the preparation was in the earlier chapters for. It's just for parts like even this, and really getting through this afterward, you start realizing this could take hours of dying over and over again, and really in the end, when you get through it, it's just the whole sequence is only a few minutes. So, like I said, before we get to this door, there are no enemies along the way, so reloading the save file if you want to do different upgrades or change things is not bad, because you won't have to encounter anything before this part. God, I'm still switching around. I don't know what I want to even start off with. Oh, that's right, I'm going to put the shotgun in my hand. So, yeah, you're just gonna, this looks beautiful, doesn't it? Because this is a very quiet area, and there's no enemies, and there's the losing grip on yourselves, because, yeah, like somebody else said, this really is about just losing it. At this point on this mode, this is really, I mean, Chapter 5 is a struggle, and really, the whole Kidman sequence where you have to protect Joseph, this is what it's like. It's kind of like that, but it's 5 times worse. Because you're in a cramped room. You have a lot more space to run around in that, and I died 15 or 20 times, and this is my 2nd time playing, and so I always, you know, explore the area. I'm not interested in the documents or map fragments. I'm only interested in the keys for the lockers, and opening all the lockers, especially because the last one gives 100,000 green gel, but in total you'll probably get 200,000 from the lockers. And you'll have enough to upgrade about half of, or more than half of everything by chapter 15 as we go along. So that's why I have My shock bolt at 3, explosive bolt at 3, stun at 4, my sprint at 4. Alright, that's, again, I always say this, but this is just such a big joke. You know, you blow ammo and you put a syringe on the ground. The syringe is absolutely useless on this mode. Shotgun shells, that would be good. I didn't know that was going to fall out of the crate. I probably wouldn't have taken ammo from the locker, because every little bit counts, but I'm not going to really stress about that, because I'm already stressed out enough. And there's the door up there. Now, once you hit that door, this is when it's all over. So, there's a key behind this body. A statue right here. Now, a mine's not going to be of much use here, because you're not going to want to blow yourself up. Mines are good for specific situations, but this is just 2 cramped rooms. This is no good. The only thing I can do on this point is maintain some level of composure, because I expect to die a ton of times here. Now, again, going in with kind of what you want in hand is good. Now, all I can do is jump into this, really. I wish I had something to say, a tip, some place to hide, or crouch where the enemies can't get you as well, but it's really just going to be a matter of running around, trying to evade everything and using whatever to just get by. I mean, there's a lot of things that are random in this too, because sometimes there'll be more enemies, sometimes there won't, and there's a bit of randomness, so it's hard to predict what's going to happen.
Are you all right?
I don't even want to skip this, because really,
It felt like it was about to crack open.
I'm gonna show you where the checkpoint is here.
Now it's like I'm starting to get used to it.
Because where they start you is just absolutely insane.
No. Next thing I knew, I was here.
On any other mode, it doesn't matter, because all of the checkpoints are the same on every mode. And it just doesn't work on this mode. This mode really should have a checkpoint between these 2 rooms. This is really, I can imagine
Let's go.
a lot more people having not as difficult time if it weren't for this part. This is just, oh my god. I'm gonna show you, this is where the checkpoint starts. Now, you gotta wait for him to open the door. If he gets distracted, he's gonna stop opening it. You're just gonna be standing right in front of an enemy, right at the start. My hands are all sweaty, and I'm gonna,
Get that thing open. Working on it. Just give me a little
I
time.
could die right now, easily. Right there, axe. If you don't dodge it, dead. I don't know, I don't know why I'm doing this. I should have kicked the barrel over to the door. I'm hoping that takes him out, and... See, right? 1 kick, gone. Now, bear in mind, this is just 1 room. There's no checkpoint between the 2 rooms. And the one downstairs is worse than this. I think the best thing to do, maybe, tip-wise, I'm thinking the best thing to do in the first room is to just try to stay by the window and get rid of the enemies. I'm already not doing good here. I spent too much time on those first 2 enemies, and it's good to try to maybe shoot them before they come through the window. I don't know. And now I'm reloading, and I'm...
Can't hold them off much longer. Another moment. Just keep me covered.
See, the shock bolt's good because, you know, you can get more than 1 person, but I'm really... This is just... He still doesn't have the door open. Now I'm just kind of running in circles here and hoping that the door opens. And they're running so fast, and I have my sprint at 4, and he has to stop, and it's over. And he just opened the door right now. And that's how frustrating it is. He just opened the door, and I can't... Even with the level 4 sprint, I had to stop and breathe, and it's just... It's good to try. I want to really just get these first 2 people with the barrel. That's really probably the best thing to do. I don't even know what the best thing to do. There's people, you know, who post walkthroughs and whatnot. You know, eventually I'll get through this, but really, nothing can be followed lockstep because. You don't even know what this guy's going to do in the beginning. Whether he lunges, whether he throws an axe. This is just a very masochist. This is a good way to torture yourself, really. Alright, I can get rid of those guys. Now, I'm just gonna... I don't know. I figure... You know, they'll just save me a little bit of time, but not much. Right, that didn't...
Can't hold them off much longer. Another moment. Just keep me covered.
I'm so glad that barrel didn't blow up in my face, because... Now, I am coming in here and I had like 20-something matches, which is good, because now you even have to watch out when you burn them, because they'll get up and run after you. Please open the door. I'm just not... He opened it, thank God. And I can't even... I cannot believe this. There's like one enemy in the room. The door wasn't open. You know, you figure, and you figure everything would be great, you know, even if you get through the door, because, and it's not. You just don't get out of the way. See, I started switching something in my inventory. That's why I was saying it's kind of important just to come in with what you want in hand, because even switching is just... Just really not much time to do anything. And why am I decide to switch again, which is not a good idea. It'd be nice to... I can't fire there, I'll just kill myself. Now, she could have just hit me with a knife, which... Well, I didn't do that in enough time. Table. Can't forget about that. That's another annoyance about being in this room. Not only is the room small, but there's a table, which, if you're trying to even get away and run around, and you can jump over it, but there's 2 items on it, so if X is to jump over the table, you're going to wind up grabbing the item before even trying to jump over the table, so that's no good. I should have just kicked the barrel over there.
Another moment. Just keep me covered.
Now that's the good thing. I have the shock bolt at level 3, so yeah. Last time I did this, it took me about 4 hours to do this, and I mean I did it in one play. I just kept dying. I died about 70 times trying to do this, and you know, I don't care. I'm putting this down on the ground now. I got through the first door.
Let's go.
You have a little time to breathe right here, and you know, prepare. So I'm gonna just I don't know. I'm already blowing a lot of bolts. I'm gonna want to use the stun. My stun is at 13 second stun. I don't. I just don't even want to jump. This is the part right here. There just should be a checkpoint. You really, it would be such a blessing if there were just a checkpoint there. And a freeze bolt, I just can't stand because that's gonna just kill me. And I probably shouldn't have used that, but that's what I had, and I'm not doing too well, and I just messed up. Know about shooting the red barrel at the bottom, and all back. You really just wish there was a checkpoint, and there is none. So I don't know what else to say. Oh my god.
Can't hold them off much longer. Another moment. Just keep me covered.
Come on. He's running after me on fire, that's no good, and oh god, please just open the door, come on. I really don't want to waste ammo on that guy, let's go. It's the first room I can get through about 50% of the time, so I don't know, maybe I should craft another one. I did the lightning bolts I have at 3, and they work very well, I find, but I can't use them for the entire sequence. Yeah, that's a good idea, because I thought about planting things in places. I probably have done this. I've done this before, but I can't remember how, because there's no way.
You hold them off. There's twice as many of them. You've got time to complain.
See, the lightning bolt, I just killed 4 people, which is good. That's not helpful if there's not enough enemies here, but I mean, I'm just... Oh no. I'm just really hoping this lasts for 13 seconds, and this just isn't a lot of time still, because, come on, get out of the space, please. I ran out of, oh god, I ran out of my stun and or lightning. If I had a lightning bolt right there, I probably could have just gotten through. Yeah, the shock bolts work pretty well in general, just because I have it at level 3, so you know it lasts 6 seconds, and you can light everybody on fire that runs into it. I don't know why I'm just running around here and not doing anything. This isn't good. See, I just got stuck. I got stuck because he couldn't run because the barrel was right there, and I was trying to get them near the barrel, but I'd rather dispose of the first 2 quickly. Yeah, the problem is that I knew I put the electric trap by the I think somebody ran in. I think somebody ran into it very early on, and even if they didn't, I kind of forgot that I planted it there so I wasn't thinking to even run over there. I was looking in my... I was switching my bolts because I didn't know I ran out of lightning bolts or shock bolts or whatever. I didn't have any more stun or shock bolts, so that wasn't... I hate when that happens. I hit that by accident. I mean, generally, the first room, I seem to be okay. I mean, now at this point, I'm just gonna, like, put a bolt, and they'll just... as long as one runs into it, no. See, this is the worst part. If Joseph gets distracted, it's pretty much over. I mean, this... I just saw Joseph get hit, and I was just immediately discouraged, because at that point he just stops trying to disarm the door, and and I don't know when that's going to happen. Sometimes that happens, it hasn't happened yet. That's the first time it's happened that Joseph's been distracted at the door, and it's hard to predict if it'll happen or not. And I guess, again, there's another example of just being quick. I mean, especially I'm sitting here talking. No, I get what you mean, but I think I have a point in streaming this part. I figured to myself while I was doing this playthrough and streaming it, I'm going through the whole thing, and if I die 70 or 80 times, I die 70 or 80 times. I just figure I'm just kind of giving a showing of kind of how bad this situation can be. I'm not trying to discourage anybody, but really, my belief is, so long as if you can get through this section, I mean, to me, this is the worst section in the entire playthrough on AKUMU mode. And it's merely because of the absence of a checkpoint between the 2 rooms, and then that absence isn't anything new. All the checkpoints are the same on every mode. It's just... on this mode, without that checkpoint, this is just, and now I'm just, you know, the point is that the one important thing is that as far as deaths, you're not penalized in any way for dying. So sometimes during this playthrough on AKUMU mode, I will die on purpose in certain scenarios, not in this, but I mean in certain scenarios I will, if I felt like I've wasted a lot of ammo or missed bullets, because I try to conserve and save up for parts like this. And if I just blew a lot of bullets on one part, I might as well just die, because I know I can do the situation better, and I don't want to move on with like less than what I could have. And in this situation, to be quite honest, this is one of the situations why in earlier chapters I disarmed even motion sensor bombs and everything in Chapter 3 and Chapter 2, was for the bloodbath scenario in Chapter 4, for the section with Kidman in the tank on 5, for this section, and for the boss on this section. And I figured by the end I won't have any more parts, and that's okay, because in Chapter 7 and Chapter 9 I can get a lot of parts back. I'm gonna be a little bit, since I have a little bit of time, and start, you know, crafting a little more of these things.
Can't hold them off much longer. Another moment. Just keep me covered.
Come on, Joseph, open the door, please. Now I'm just kind of running around, and that was... Because in my head, I didn't really want to... All the shock bolts are 4 parts, and I... At some point, you know, I guess I'm just not going to care, because I can get some more trap parts in the section where there's the 4 cabanas, if I have enough patience to disarm the bombs. I usually disarm them if there's a save room nearby, because it's fine, because I could just go and save the game right after, but... I wish I had hit her with that. I don't know, I'm messing up now.
Another moment. Just keep me covered.
I imagine this will help out. See, if I can get them in a group, it's good, and just put a bolt on the ground, because I can burn a ton of them at once. Just as long as I can make it, you know, run them around in a circle a little bit. And she's too fast, and... Please open the door, Joseph. I don't really just want to do this anymore. Come on. Please open. Open the door. Go. I just made that. See, I could have just died right there. That was even risky. And now I stocked up on the... I have 2 bolts. I came in here with when I started the save file on this chapter, I had like 30 parts, and just really, I don't care. I don't know. If I make it through here, I'm just gonna disarm some like motion sensor bombs, because I'm just not. I missed the barrel I wanted to hit, and I'm already doing bad. I'm gonna... Yeah, I've not tried it with not doing any upgrades. I kind of upgraded... I did upgrade my sprint. And I've upgraded the the explosive bolt. I haven't upgraded anything on the handgun or the shotgun or the base of the crossbow. A lot of it, I mean, I maxed out my stock on matches. I thought that was pretty important, and I'm surprised I didn't run into the axe right there. That was kind of... I should have started a count of how many times. And then, you know, this is even with upgrades, so... I probably should have just ignored, now that I'm thinking about it, I mean, the flash bolt was useful during the Kidman sequence because I would just flash a bunch of people while Joseph... I tried to do that and let Joseph shoot people while they were... You know, I could stun people for about 13 seconds, but on this it becomes too chaotic, especially on the bottom, because I stun 3 of them, it doesn't matter, they just keep pouring through the ceiling, and I'll just keep blowing... If I can wrap them in a circle and get 1 bolt on the ground, shock bolt, I can burn 5 of them at once. Come on. Alright, see, I do that accidentally. I hit the inventory button and, I lit a match and it didn't work there. See, that's really frustrating. But I can't stand there. Okay. Yeah, the red. I kill. My God. Yeah, I'm gonna just shoot the barrel. Okay. Yeah. I can't believe I'm already wasted. I don't know how many bolts. How are trap parts left? That's just insane. Which one? This one? Alright, this is a bad idea going into this corner like this, but whatever. Oh my God.
I'll get the trap. You hold them off. There's twice as many of them. If you've got time to complain.
I don't know what I'm doing. I just don't want them to be near Joseph, and that's kind of even risky doing that, what I just did. I really wish that guy hadn't gotten up. I'm a little bit upset about that. Come on. It just felt like I fired that flashball and nobody got hit by that. I don't know. I mean, I feel like at that point, I was pretty close. I don't know. I feel like now my upgrades have been kind of useless. The flash just doesn't seem to... the lightning, the shock bolt works a lot better here. Where did my bomb go? That bomb did not even hurt him. It's crazy. I can't. It's like you don't even have time to switch stuff. The only time you have to really prepare is like right when you get through the first door. 'Cause I don't know. I plant the bomb by the one window, and it blows up the guy sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't blow him up. It's a level 3 explosive, and I don't know. It just doesn't. I don't even. I keep forgetting, yeah, when these red barrels are on fire, it seems to just catch them on fire, so that's... I should have known that the guy was going to do that. It's usually, you can tell sometimes by the way they fall down. If they fall down in a weird, very quick way, they're probably going to spring up and hit you. And I thought for a moment there that I just died. I don't know why. Yeah, that's good. At least while the barrel's on fire, it catches.
Can't hold them off much longer. Another moment. Just keep me covered.
I can't stand that. Joseph... See, at this point, it just feels like now he's just gonna go over there and kill enemies. He's not opening the door. I just feel like it's already messed up at this point. I don't even... Come on.
Got it. Let's go.
I'm really surprised. You could see my sprint bar was like all the way at the bottom, and I was just... Oh. I don't know. I just not, I'm not, I've never, I don't know what to do. I kind of wish I'm starting to look back right in the past right now, and in chapter 2, there were 3 bear traps that would have given me 8 parts, and it's things like that I'm thinking about, and an enemy ran over all 3 of them, and that was the end of that, and I just... Oh, God. I don't know why I did that. That was stupid. the reason I feel like I just wish there was a checkpoint because I'm trying to keep in memory kind of like an idea of where the enemies are coming from on the bottom. And again, I've beaten it on this mode. It's just I can't possibly. If this whole thing were like, I mean, there's some predictability. I mean, it just seems like on this part, you know, you always have the two people in the beginning. I mean, whether or not he throws the axe or not, I don't know. He'll do that. Two people come then, or two enemies in the left window and one in the right, and then usually after that I put a bolt on the ground and I try to run at the end. On the bottom I can't get an idea yet, really in my head of what to do because I keep dying and I have to come back up here and deal with this and it's just I figure, yeah. I mean, yeah, like I said, I mean, if I can, I hit the barrels on the bottom. If I can hit the one, I can hit the one on the far right, but the other one, it would be nice if I could get it to a place where they would, Jesus. Yeah, I had no time to turn around and do anything. They just were behind me the whole time. I mean, I feel like this is the part, you know, and I don't care for broadcasting for how many times I die. It's just I don't feel like I have any solid. Well, that's the only good thing about them running fast sometimes, because she just will run right into my match. I mean, I don't know. It's just ridiculous. And I might as well just pick up green gel while I'm sitting. I don't know, that's not a good idea.
Much longer. Another moment. Just keep me covered.
Oh, God. I don't know. The guy went on the ground, electrocuted, and I thought she would just run into him and get electrocuted. That's why I kind of stood there like that. That match was wasted. Just blow myself up, you know. Look at Joseph just stands there in his suit, all casually. Like I just blew up a barrel right in front of his face. Whatever. I love when you get to the bottom and Joseph's doing the door, and at least on this mode, and he'll say, you know, what your character Sebastian says something like, "I can't." There's like twice as many of them down here, and then Joseph will say, "You have time to complain." Like, yeah, on this mode, you know, Joseph, he can get hit in the head with an axe, you know, once or twice, and all I need is a one of the enemies to like sit up and hit me, you know, in the shin. Thanks. I mean, good luck to you. I mean, really, I mean, once I'm past this is just, I'm not saying that the rest of the chapter on this mode is great. This whole chapter is terrible, but this is the worst part. For me, it starts to build up. You got the bloodbath scenario in chapter 4, which I actually got through really quickly on this run through, but really starting off in chapter 5, the moment I get with Joseph is just, from that point on, it just starts to ascend the difficulty, and this is where it peaks, and then it kind of descends a little bit, and I don't know, the boss is a little annoying on this because there's bear traps, but I can't blow the barrel up, and I'm already messed up. I mean, usually, sometimes I'm just running around in the beginning with the two people because I'm just trying to just blow the barrel up on them, and if I'm trying to get them together, kind of, but I don't. I guess it doesn't matter. I just want to get. I don't know why. It felt like the shotgun blast just went right through her, right there. That did nothing. I just blew a bunch of bullets here and just did nothing, basically. You know, one time I did this, and on the first floor here, I literally ran around in circles, and I didn't fire one bullet, and I actually made it to the second room on the bottom without doing anything but running around in circles. And that was just dumb luck, because I somehow they all managed to kind of get behind me in a bunch, and they weren't scattered around like they might have been just there. I mean, I wouldn't recommend trying. Trying that just doesn't. Even if if there were a checkpoint in between this, I would just try to do it that way and run around in a circle and get through it once that way. I would save a lot of ammo and stuff, but I can't even get them to stop. Please stop running. The barrel's too close. I can't. I hate that when he has to stop just to breathe. I mean, I have to be more aware, I guess, of I know the sprint bar when it gets down. It just seems like it goes down so quickly on this. It's just when some of them, they don't stop chasing you once they start. They just keep going. And I have no time to turn around and maybe I'll just do that in the beginning and just kill both of them like that, because this really starts to just kind of wear on you, I guess. So, oh no.
Can't hold them off much longer. Another moment. Just keep me covered.
He's got to get the door open now. Come on. I really don't want to blow. Come on, open the door. There's only one person in it. Nobody else is coming through somehow. I don't know why.
Let's go.
See, this is one of those points when I got lucky, it seems, because there was no other enemies that started coming through. Yes, I need a syringe. Like, that's really gonna help me right now. No. Oh my god, how did she avoid the shock? I don't understand. All of them got shocked but her. I felt like she just ran through it. I was lighting a match right there. If I had just gotten the match lit, I would have lit her on fire even if she didn't get shocked. I felt like once I get to a point like I guess if I can get rid of the first enemies like I just did on the bottom, I could probably use 4 shock bolts and sit in the corner and just burn people, because I have a decent time frame for. I felt like the stun would help me more here, but it doesn't seem to be. I don't know where he came from. I thought, unless... Jeez. I couldn't even fire the gun. I pulled the gun out, I couldn't even fire it. I don't know. I have it in hand. I don't even have time to, like, raise the weapon and fire it. It's just insane. I don't know why I'm even I mean, I really, when I played this the first time, this was the one sequence, again, where I almost literally just decided to just quit this game entirely. Just because of this. Just because of this part. This is such... You know, the one time I turn around, I just fire and nothing happens. I just got to get rid of the two people in the beginning of the first part immediately. I just don't think this was just... I don't know, this part was really well thought out. Doing this, we're putting this mode on here, this one-hit kill thing, because this is just... It's just dumb luck there that she even stopped and didn't keep running after me.
Can't hold them off much longer. Another moment. Just keep me covered.
I can't even... Now, that's good that I did that. I mean... And still there's more of them. I mean, come on. Oh, no. It just, I feel like it just takes him forever to, like, fire the gun. I hate that. I hate when I get hit by a fist. That's, you know, fine, I get stabbed by a knife, and it just feels more real, but I don't know. I get punched, and I'm already dead, and... Come on. Can you imagine I just be broadcasting for 12 hours and I'm still in these two rooms. I mean, I don't know why it's not even that funny. I guess that would be terrible. I guess it's just I'm so conscious of being on the air that I'm not. Otherwise I might be just screaming right now. You got. I don't even feel like I was close to the barrel at that point. I don't know how that happened. Maybe the other barrel blew up, but no, maybe I thought I blew up both of them anyway. I don't know. Why? What a waste. Nice match lighting. What's really annoying about this mode is that the enemies are incredibly... I mean, they can spot you from, you know, in the dark, or you really have to be hidden. They can spot you very easily, but when it comes to matters like I light a red barrel on fire, they'll just run into the fire. I don't know. But they have perfect aim when they throw an axe, and perfect aim with everything else. But they'll just walk right into the fire, like, I don't know. I'm surprised I was able to fire the gun. that a particular thing like that, that's one of the most frustrating elements. Just when somebody's laying on the ground and they just lift their hand and you die. That's... In any other situation, I mean, it would still be frustrating, but not as much as this. I can't, he didn't even fall down. Again, he missed with the... I don't know, I feel like I'm gonna light myself on fire here. I got really lucky there that she got on fire because she was just about to stab me.
Much longer. Another moment. Just keep me covered.
Great. Unbelievable. And again, that the whole scenario with Joseph being attacked while he's doing the door, it's just not consistent on this. Sometimes it happens and sometimes it doesn't. And when it does, I just feel like it's pretty much over. If it was happening at the bottom, I would really try to do something about it, because at that point, you know, I just want to get through it. Up here, it's just sort of like, jeez, come on. Now that's why I'm putting the barrel there, but now that takes up time, and they're gonna come through the window here. I'm not gonna be able to... Hopefully, alright, good. They both blew up, which is good, because sometimes they don't. I just got stuck. And again with the table, if you press X, you can climb over the table, but instead the first thing you'll do is pick up an item on the table. So even if I try to climb over, I'm just gonna stand there and pick up something, and unless I pick it up right away, but I have no time. You have no time to do anything really, but just start fighting. God, every little second what I'm doing, reloading, doing whatever counts. I mean, there's...
Can't hold them off much longer. Another moment. Just keep me covered.
I don't understand why I couldn't light him on fire. God damn it, he's not doing the door. At this point it just feels pretty like pointless. He's not even opening the door now. This is just insane. This is really insane now. I don't want to waste any more. This is not a good time to craft bolts. See, I can't even stop to craft anything, and hopefully nobody else will come through the window and I'll just sit here, but I can't, I don't even think I'm gonna be able to get away. My bar's all the way down. This is how fast they are. I can't even, if I don't sprint,
Got it. Let's go.
I can't even believe I just made it through the door. You know, when I started this chapter, I mean, if anybody's new in here, when I was in the save room at least, because I did craft some bolts to prepare for this, and maybe I shouldn't have, I'm not even using the stun, even though it's 13 seconds, because it just doesn't seem to be helping me that much. Or maybe, at least here you have a little bit of time to think, but... That's right.
You hold them off. There's twice as many of them. You've got time to complain.
Unbelievable. Am I gonna actually get through this? I burned a lot of them at once. Please, open the door, please. Oh my god. I don't...
Sebastian, let's go. Looks like we're out.
No, please get through. Oh my god! Oh! Okay, for anybody watching, that was... oh my god.
Just for a minute. We can't keep going at this pace.
For anybody who gets through that...
This place as fast as we can.
That's pretty much... I believe... Seriously, that's just the worst section on this game on AKUMU mode. That's the top worst. And when I played through the first time, it took me about 4 hours and 70 or 80 deaths to get through there. So this took me about an hour. I don't know how many times I died, like 20 or 30. So at this point, I just... all those trap parts I saved up and whatnot came in use because I only have 2 parts left. I don't even have... I have 1 stun bolt and 3 harpoon bolts. And really I don't like that, but the thing is, after getting through that, you really don't want to go back and be like, well, I want to try to do that without wasting a lot of ammo. The one thing I recommend here is to go through that mirror, because it's going to disappear. Well, not... it doesn't stay here the whole time, which really... I really wish it did, because there's about 6 motion sensor bombs around here. The number one reason I would save the game right here, after getting through... thanks. After getting through all of that mess, to ensure that you do not have to do that again and whatnot, I found this, and I don't know if anybody else has. Occasionally, during this I always look ahead at this cabana at the bottom and make sure I can see the entirety of it, because sometimes the sides are transparent on this. If anybody's ever had this happen, like you could see through this barrel, and when the guy comes out to fire at you, if it's transparent, to me, I've never been able to shoot him. He's invincible. And it's sort of a glitch in the game. And I've had to reload because I can't do anything. I can't knock down the cabana. And certainly in this mode, I mean, after going through all that, I mean, seriously, just to take the mirror and save the damn game.
How much longer am I needed here?
I mean, this chapter's pretty bad overall, but if for anybody who gets through that, I mean, that's not only the worst part of this chapter, it's probably the worst part of this entire mode on the game on this mode. I mean, it's you know, this is why I'm getting all the keys too, because you know I can get some ammo back. I didn't use any. Oh. You know, I'm gonna keep that there. I mean, I have 6, but okay, I'm really happy about that. I mean, I open it up and get lightning and shock bolts will be good for the final boss. Because on this mode there's bear traps on the ground in that area where the sentinel comes out, and I put a bolt on the ground in front of me and just fire whatever I have, and then put another bolt on the ground until that huge dog is dead. That's just my way of doing it. I mean, it's good advice, because I mean, otherwise, I mean, you could try to sit there and dodge the dog, and you'll wind up just with your foot in a bear trap, and it gets really kind of frustrating. Nowhere near the frustration level as that section I just passed, but that's... I can't even think after all that. Like, I don't... What I really want are some trap parts, and... I can't imagine even doing that without... I mean, that's the reason I went through, Chapter 3. It took me 3 hours to get through Chapter 3, and it's not because I was dying a lot, it's because I disarmed every single trap, and I was saving up just for moments like this, for one moment in Chapter 4, for the Kidman moment in Chapter 5, and for this moment right here, and, you know, I had... When I started this chapter, I had about 28 or 30 parts. It's just from crafting those shock bolts that are four parts each, and I just blew all my parts right there. So I can't imagine. I mean, I made it a little easier for myself by... I put the shock bolts up to level 3 because it gives you an extra 2 seconds, and you know, when they're all electrocuted, if you can get them there on the ground, you can light one match and get them all on fire. But okay. I'm sorry, I just took too long saving even. My head is kind of... Has it 1 hour and 10 minutes passed by? I guess the time adds... I got kind of confused. I guess the time adds on every time you die. Because I started this broadcast at the beginning of this chapter, and it's been going for an hour and a half, and I've spent an hour and 15 minutes on this chapter already. And I've just been in that room for most of the time, so I guess all the time's been saved for the times I died, which I don't know. I did a broadcast for a speed run, so I guess I didn't really think to myself that maybe dying all of those times adds to time. I mean, I sat here like for 5 hours in one sit through and did a speed run. I did it on casual mode and with brass knuckles, so it made it a lot easier, but I guess dying all of those times really adds on. It's been an hour and 10 minutes. It's saying that's added on to my time for this chapter, and all I've done is those 2 rooms. It's kind of insane. So the next section, I'm gonna be really careful, and I'm gonna try to I don't know, I should probably try to disarm some of the bombs. This is gonna be kind of like... In a way, this is frustrating because I don't have good coordination, but I feel like I really... Okay. Again, I'm just gonna check and make sure this thing isn't transparent, because if that glitches, I'm not gonna be able to get through here. The checkpoint here is always on that like staircase on the upper left, and really it depends on how you feel, like when you want to hit it. I really don't rush the checkpoint. I try to clear the area of the enemies before hitting the checkpoint, so when I start the whole cabana thing and trying to sniper the yeah, when I try to snipe these people out of the cabanas, that there's no enemies already over here. Yeah, this one at the bottom here, Occasionally I've played this, and I don't know, sometimes it might happen at the checkpoint, sometimes not. I'll have to reload, though, if it happens. It just glitches, and the whole thing... You can see through it, and you can see the guy behind it, but he becomes kind of invincible, and there's no way to get through the section. You can't knock down the cabana, you can't fire at him. So if that happens, it's nobody's fault. Okay, I don't...
Let's be careful.
Oh man, there's a lot more of these bombs around here. I don't remember there being one on the bottom, and, like right there. I've played this mode. I knew there was gonna... like, what I want to do is kind of disarm... I want to kind of disarm 3 of them before the checkpoint, but, one hit and it blows up and I'm dead. Now, I don't care usually. See, that's the problem. The save point's gone. That happens in all modes. That's why I went through the mirror and saved it too, because I knew that was gonna just go away. But, I mean, this could be frustrating, but this is more self-inducing, and it for me it's kind of worthwhile because I just blew all my trap parts in those 2 rooms. I get 2 trap parts from each of these bombs. It's good, but I don't think I want to disarm 5 of them and have enemies because I could easily just these needles stopping these bombs is just kind of nuts. And I know there's enemies around here and I have to deal with them too, and I don't know why they're acting this way. And oh, now he's coming over here. See, I'm hoping Joseph can deal with a lot of these guys, but on this mode, Joseph just doesn't seem as effective. And really, this isn't the best way to deal with these guys. I've already kind of screwed this up, because usually I try to stealth kill them. And I don't know, they're all over here already, and it's kind of messed up. And I died because Joseph died, and I don't know, when that happens sometimes, you see Sebastian just running off the side. He just keeps running off to the side when Joseph dies. I don't understand what that's all about. But now, what I could do to make it quicker is just shoot all the bombs and not get the parts. And for me in this case, even though the only reason I'd be fine is because of thus far collecting all the keys. I happen to open up one of my lockers and there's shock bolts in them. Now, there is a locker always with shock bolts. There's probably 2 of them that'll have shock bolts in them. 2 of them with freeze bolts, 2 of them with... maybe only 1 has explosives. And the thing is, I need the shock for the last boss, but I don't have I don't have parts to make any explosives, and I don't know how I'm going to deal with the final...
Let's be careful.
It's the final boss isn't even coming up either. That's the problem. There's this section, and then there's this chapter's very long, and the first part of it on this mode is just grueling, and I already got through that, but it's not over, and that's the worst part. But still, there's just... So, whenever I can, I try to conserve ammo and not blow anything, and if I can sneak up on people or enemies and do whatnot, I just stealth kill them. When I was in Chapter 3, when the Sadist came out, I did use 1 stun bolt and knifed him, but I didn't even have to do that. What I did was just run over to the houses because I'd cleared them of enemies, and I just kept running them in circles where the traps were and pulling the levers with spikes. The problem here is that I want those parts, but I don't have usually the coordination to like disarm these bombs, and it's not really a big deal because if I die, I'm just gonna go back to the save room. I'm not gonna have to do that first part over again. But I kind of wish that he's not going to come after me because he's going to think, okay, like, he's going to run away because he probably wants me to run through the bombs. Now, this is really just risky because you see, it looks, it's really not that easy. Now, usually when there's a save room available, I literally will go to the save room and save it right now because just from disarming one of them. And then come back, disarm another one, save it, and because it is a risk, and I could die right here, and I'm doing it because I feel like I need some of the parts. Right now I can make 2 explosive bolts because I started off with 2, and now I got 4, and it's 3, and I just feel like I need some. I didn't think I was gonna blow all of my parts in those 2 rooms that I had, and I can't now even imagine being in those 2 rooms if I had no parts, what I would do. Because I really used those shock bolts, and I really wish I just could have gotten through using the stun, but it just seemed like I couldn't. It didn't work out well. Yeah, it honestly, I didn't know what to expect because I've done them before, and the first time I went through this, I was here for about 4 or 5 hours. I wasn't broadcasting at the time, but it took me about 4 or 5 hours to get through the first 2 rooms. And this time it took me about an hour. And but when I started this chapter, I had about 28 or 30 parts. I just blew all my parts in those 2 rooms because I made a lot of shock bolts, and those are 4 parts each. And the reason I had so many parts is because I already knew. I mean, I prepared myself in chapter 2 and 3 and just disarmed everything. And really, I've disarmed 2 bombs here, and I already feel like I don't want to disarm anymore. Except for maybe 2 once I hit the checkpoint. Because there is no save room here. That's the safety way. That's the safe way. The way that I use the save room, and the way, and most notably, Chapter 3, in Chapter 7, and Chapter 9. When there's a save room available all the time, when you reach those points, anytime I see those bombs, like, they're just on this mode, all fast, the needle's all fast, and you have to stop it in a small space, and personally, I'm just not really that confident, like, in disarming them, and I just did that down there. I disarmed 2 of them just because I really feel like I need some trap parts, and I'm willing to die right now because it's just gonna. I don't have to do the 2 rooms again. It's just gonna take me back here, but I don't really want to do 5 of them. And if you run up the stairs to the left there, you'll hit the checkpoint. But for anybody listening, it really depends on when you want to hit the checkpoint. I'd prefer to eliminate the enemies around the area first, so at least if I die after the checkpoint, none of these enemies will be here, and I'm just dealing with the situation with the cabanas, and then a lot of enemies run out at the same time. But I feel like I have more. It gives me more breathing space to run around if I get rid of these enemies, and if I could do it in a stealthy way. Now, I'm hoping I can do that right now, and if I do, I'm just not going to bother disarming. I'm going to blow up the bomb in there, and probably the other 2, but there's 2 others after the checkpoint that I'll probably just disarm because it's right after a checkpoint. And there's some things to pick up around here. If you turn on the generator, there's 2 yellow doors, and if you do not want to pull the lever for the right door, a bunch of enemies will come out. But on the left, if you go in, there's 2 treasure chests. So like, I've been upgrading, so I'm not playing without upgrades, but none of my weapons, my my handgun, my shotgun. I just got the rifle right now. And the base of the crossbow. I mean, only the bolts themselves are upgraded, and my sprint. I haven't upgraded any of my weapons though. I've upgraded the stock to level 3 for the shotgun, but and my matches are fully upgraded, and I've upgraded the agony bolts fully. I just try to prioritize, and now that you're thinking about the future, I mean, I'm collecting like all the keys I can and all of the green gel, and by doing so, you can get about through one playthrough, you can get enough to upgrade probably half of everything. And since like health is worthless, and so is syringe recovery, 3 of the abilities to me are worthless. I don't upgrade the melee at all because I don't feel like running around punching people on this mode. I just feel that's kind of risky, and it's kind of worthless. I don't know how many punches it would take. So ignoring all of that, I should be able to. I want my Magnum, even though you don't get it till Chapter 11, to level 4 on everything, pretty much except for the reload speed. So I can just get rid of the Chapter 14 boss and the 2 safe heads at the end of Chapter 15 within a matter of seconds. And really, it's doing all those upgrades just for those instances, so I just don't have to, so I can get through it really quickly on this mode. And I minimize my chances of getting hit. I mean, the Chapter 14 boss, you could just do away with within 5 seconds. And, which is kind of weird because you think about it. I'm thinking of Chapter 14 in like 5 seconds for the boss, and then the 2 rooms I just went through are like... It's hard to think if you just played this game on survival or casual. I would have never thought to myself when I played this through on AKUMU the first time that, I didn't think back to myself and think, oh, those 2 rooms on Chapter 6, that's going to be like, oh my god. I just kept thinking to myself, Chapter 10 boss, the boss on Chapter... I just kept thinking all the boss situations were going to be horrible. And I wasn't really expecting that really the bad situations in this are the ones where you're just crammed in spaces with enemies. Like in Chapter 5 with you have a lot more breathing room in Chapter 5 to run around and protect Joseph. It's not as bad as those 2 rooms I was just in, but it's still pretty bad. I died about 15 times there, and only for the first checkpoint. Once you get past the first checkpoint, the second one is easier. But I died about 15 times, meaning about half the time I died, half the time it was Joseph who died, and I was fine. But see, what I like to do usually is I mean, I'd rather have Joseph kill the enemies, but on this mode, they're just twice as fast, and Joseph just, when you plan any other mode, he's just, it's easy for him, he kills them much quicker, and he's just not as useful on this mode as he is on other modes. I mean, he obviously shoots the enemies. Actually, I should say at this point, there is one really bad, aside from the fact that one of the cabanas could glitch and you can't shoot the guy, there is one bad part here. And it's Joseph, like, and you figure Joseph's a detective and he'll notice things. Well, this is how much of a fool he can be, really. There is a, on the other side, there's a tripwire on one of the buildings with dynamite attached to it, I think. When you get over there, you better, you just gotta disarm that tripwire really quickly, because Joseph seriously just runs through it blindly. He'll just run through it and die. It's just ridiculous. He doesn't even, he just run through it and that's it, it's over. That means, you know, you have to go back to wherever you started, and as I'm trying to really just clear this area before the checkpoint, that's extremely frustrating. So, I don't know why he just runs through there. It makes me kind of think that they didn't... when they put the tripwire there, I mean, on a normal mode, there's no tripwire, so Joseph, if he runs over there, it's no big deal, but, oh man, there's a lot more, yeah, of these bombs all over the place. That's why it's good to just crouch around. I mean, if I had just come through here standing up, I would have blown up. I kind of want to disarm them, but I did 2 of them, and I'm already just kind of... I can't sneak up on this guy. And this bomb's here. You know what? Screw it. I just feel like I need some parts, and I just blew that up. So, you know, it happens. I can't really just bother about it because, in reality, for me, it's a worthwhile risk because you're gaining a lot of parts, and it's just I don't have enemies all over my back, so it just sucks. There's no place to save because, you know. So I might die a few times just trying to do this.
Let's be careful.
Really, maybe I should just disarm 2 of them like I did before and not worry about... I keep forgetting this guy runs out of here. This is ridiculous. I don't know, sometimes I do good at it and sometimes I don't. And this guy's not going to chase after me because he thinks I'm going to run through the bomb, but, oh no, that's not good. That guy's got a crossbow. See, Joseph's not really helping me out. Oh, I hate that. I really wish the mirror were still available. I'm not really stealth killing now like I wanted to. These enemies are just coming from everywhere. It's like I disturbed one and now they're all woken up and I'm kind of screwed. I just feel like I just don't want to waste bullets. I mean, this is one of those situations where dying on purpose isn't a bad idea, unless I can get away, but seriously, they're all over the place.
Let's be careful. Could be full.
I might as well just, like, run around and, you know, see if maybe I can... What really bothers me about that is I thought if I crouched up to the ladder, because I know if you're crouching and you go through a door, you'll always stand up to go through the door, but if you crouch before going through it, right when you get through the door, you'll go back down to crouch mode. And the same through jumping through a windowsill. I just thought going up the ladder, the same thing would happen. Apparently not. Oh well.
Let's be careful.
I just wish this enemy didn't come out the door, because I would just go disarm the 2 bombs first, and if I died, it's not a big deal, but I just have to, like, spend time just taking out somebody. And I mean, it's better this way, because otherwise everybody's gonna run down here again if I don't. And again, as you can see, Joseph doesn't really... I mean, he hits them like he would on any other mode, but it's more likely Joseph will die than kill other people or kill other enemies. At least it seems to me at this point. When it comes to the 2 brothers that come out, I really am going to try to let Joseph just shoot them for the most part, and I'm still gonna have to blow some ammo because I don't feel like Joseph or Kidman when you're with them in this mode are just they're not as helpful. Two of them came out, and I'm not kind of happy about that, but I'm hoping the other one stops. And he's walking up. Please stop. God, they all came over here. I just, will lure enemies out of a space, especially when there's a door, because it takes them a while to get through the door. They always just take a while. So, it gives you time to hide. And even though 3 of them came out, 2 of them are gone, so... Alright, I feel like I'm doing pretty well with the, disarming those. But, again, I can go disarm another one and just, it'll blow up in my face. And I don't really... I gotta get that noise out of my head, that save room, because, like, I really wish I could go through that mirror again. Like, I would go through it right now and save it, because I just killed 2 enemies and disarmed 2 bombs. But, there's just no... The only way I could save it is if I hit the checkpoint, and it's always in the same place. But, I really want to kind of get rid of these enemies, or at least some of them, because... It's just difficult to speed through. I mean, I don't really want to speed through stuff, because there's stuff to collect, too, like if you, hit the generator door. See, this is the part over here where I really want to be careful, because Joseph can just run over a tripwire, and oh, come on.
Let's be careful.
I don't know if I should attract the attention of anybody or not. I always keep thinking this way because Joseph will hit them, and I don't know how effective it'll be. And I know there's a guy crouched up there, right? Yeah, there's his head in the corner. Now, see, the awareness of these enemies is pretty bad. I mean, it's incredible, so they just... I don't even know where Joseph is right now. Where did he go? Oh, come on. Joseph, don't run away. Hit him. Please. Hit him. He missed. Oh, God. It's terrible. I mean... He is more likely to miss on this mode, and it's not because of, you know... the fact that this is the hardest difficulty, but just because they're twice as fast, I guess. Like, he just doesn't... I mean, even on a regular mode, sometimes some of the enemies he'll get, and some of them will just run past him directly for you, and they'll just go after you. But on this, it's just if they're running after you, some of them are just incredibly fast. It's like I'd rather have the stronger guys, the bigger guys, come after me, because at least I feel like I have a better chance of getting away. That probably disturbed some enemies, and I'm not too thrilled about that, but, Jesus. Alright, I'm not doing... Alright, that guy always runs away, which is good. This is kind of risky. And I couldn't see, I tried to stealth kill that enemy after hitting him with the bottle, and, I've managed to do it once on this mode. It seems like I feel like you have to do it a lot faster. So I didn't get to do it, but at least it gave time for Joseph to do some damage. I wish there was another bottle around here, or an axe or something. Speaking of which, if you get a torch, not that it matters here, but for anybody who's playing on this mode and you're on chapter 3 and just you suddenly realize there's a Ruvik clone at the center of the village the whole time, you can actually kill that Ruvik clone. When I was playing on one of my broadcast when I was on chapter 3, I didn't know this. I just figured it out. It's good to just try new things sometimes when even playing on this mode, because what is the especially if you just saved it or passed a checkpoint, there's no penalty for dying. I mean, I don't even care if I die 1,000 times. I mean, it's kind of worth trying new things. And I just decided maybe, well, what if I can kill the Ruvik clone? What if I just wave a torch in his face? And yeah, you can take down the Ruvik clone on chapter 3 if you can pick up a torch. And you don't want to run up to him, but if you can get up behind him and just melee attack with a torch and light him on fire, he'll die in one hit. And that's the Ruvik clone in chapter 3. You can take him out that way. So you don't have to deal with him anymore and the surge that comes out from him. Well, I'm not really in a good hiding spot, so I'm not surprised he looked at me, but I'm not gonna try to like... Yeah, I'm really kind of bothered. I feel like Joseph is just gonna not make it. Oh, that's good. It's always good when Joseph can take out an enemy and you don't have to waste ammo. That's great. He took him out in like one hit. Yeah. As you can see, we're still with Joseph. Like I said, the beginning of or whenever in chapter 5 you reach the point when you hit Joseph, the moment you start off with him, that's when this mode becomes incredibly frustrating. So it's chapter 5 onward through this chapter, and it peaks. It did peak right before this with those 2 rooms being the worst part. So it starts to get a little bit less frustrating at this point, at least from my own experience. I can think of scenarios or situations later on that can be very frustrating, but I don't think anything equals those 2 rooms that I got through before. And all of those trap parts I saved up, I mean, I used some of them in chapter 4 for the bloodbath scenario, which I knew I would use, and Kidman being in the tank and having to protect Joseph with all the enemies around you, I used some there, but I just blew a ton of parts just in those 2 rooms for making shock bolts. So they come in use, and I'm not... The reason why I just risked disarming some bombs is because I blew all of my trap parts, but if by the end of this chapter I had 0, it wouldn't matter, because chapter 7 you can collect a lot of trap parts. You can come out with about like 20 to 30 parts if you just utilize the save room in the way that you know, you can keep using it over and over. You can just go kill one enemy, go save the game, he won't be there anymore, go. I wish I could do that here. I really wish I could. I could come out of here with... I could come out of here... Really, in this section alone, if I disarmed every bomb, I could come out with 16 parts, at least. You know, it's just having to deal with all these enemies, and when I hit the checkpoint, I'm going to try to disarm 2 more bombs, so that'll be 4, 8 parts. I just don't feel like I could